Yo, mi gente, your boys coming through once again. And on today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my experience of going to the SHU, segregation housing unit in California, right? It's nothing nice. And basically, I'm going to tell you how I felt. You know what I mean? Especially going to the SHU with the charges that I got, right? Basically, battery on a CO, right? Battery on a peace officer, which they gave me, I believe it was 1 year and 2 months, something like that, of being on the SHU, right? Which, man, I was like, man, is I know it's gonna be all bad. I mean, how many times we have talk about stories about individuals who have this on their jacket, and they go to a spot. Eventually, the cop is gonna see something on his C file. He's gonna hit him up, and everything goes south. You know, that's basically reality on CDCR. And having charges like this, trust me, is gonna make your life in CDCR difficult. That's straight up the point. So when I got sentenced, right, to that year, 2 months to go to the SHU, I was put up for Tehachapi. Tehachapi and Corcoran, man, those SHU houses, they're popping. You know what I mean? They're known for the corruption. Yes, you have heard about Pelican Bay, but Pelican Bay is more known for the individuals that are placed on that spot, plus the high security, right? It's like a special prison for to house individuals like this. Now, if you went to Tehachapi SHU or Corcoran SHU, the cops were known to do scandalous stuff, you know? So I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous, and I was like, it is what it is. I have to do what I have to do, and let's do this, right? So I was waiting for the bus. It took me like 2 months to catch the bus. Went to CCI, right? And once I arrived right there, it was not like any other prison that I have been at, right? The yards had their own R&R. Like usually when you go to a regular prison, there's one R&R and you'll walk to A yard, B yard, C or D, whatever it is, right? Now in this spot, the yards, they're not together, they're separated. And I went to A yard, which it was on top of the hill. I remember the bus stopped, and we came out to whatever holding tanks, right? Everybody had their own holding tanks. There was like 4 individuals that catch the bus to go to the SHU, and I was one of them. At that moment, I was just thinking, man, I wonder how this place is gonna be, because you have heard stories about the SHU and stuff like that, and homies going over there and telling you the experience and what they came across and stuff like that, but it never becomes reality until you make it up there, right? You're gonna have a lot of individuals that like to brag that I went to the SHU and stuff like that, but in reality, there's nothing to brag about, right? The SHU is just, it is whatever, honestly. So once they came and picked me up, because the floor staff from whatever building you were gonna go to, they used to come over here and pick you up to R&R, I mean, and pick you up so they can walk you to their building, right? I remember I went to building 2, and honestly, I don't have nothing bad to say about those floor cops. They're one of the best floor cops that I came across in that prison. Why? Because they gave you what you had coming. Period. You know, I never was one of those individuals that asked for more, and or I said, just give me what I got coming, and I will not bother you. Basically, that's my get down, right? When it came down to prison. So I remember I was like, man, they're gonna know about my charges. They're gonna beat me up. So I'm over here walking, right? We have two officers right next to me. I'm paying attention on how the yard is set up, right? It's different. You see cages, nothing but concrete, and there's like a big tower right in the middle, right? So these guys have me by my arms, right? And they're giving me small talk, right? Like, hey man, what's up? How long you're gonna be right here and stuff like that. And then eventually they hit me up with the, hey, so why you're in the SHU for, right? Trust me, these guys already know. They just want to know if I'm gonna be honest or how I act about this, right? So I was like, man, this guy's about to beat me up right now. I see cameras, right? But those cameras maybe they're not working or whatever. And I told him, yeah, I was busted for battery on staff, right? I'm gonna do an X amount of time right here. So he went like, oh, okay. And I thought he was gonna do something, right? But he didn't, right? So I was lucky for that one. We went to building 2. And I guess they already picked who they talk to individuals before somebody goes in there. Like, hey man, we got this individual. Are you willing to take a celly and stuff like that? They go to every cell. Like if people don't want to take a celly, they will not push it, right? They will not push it. But people they do take celly. So I'm assuming they already went to the cell that I was going to go to, and the guy came. Basically, the officer told me, okay, look, go and talk to this individual to see if you're compatible and you can be in that cell, right? So once you go over there, you talk to the individual, say, hey man, I'm here for this. I've been doing time like this. This is my program, man. Chill, mind my own business, do my own time, and golden, right? Once they see that you got game like that, they're like, hey man, it's cool, man. He can stay. So they did open the door. I went in there because you never know what's gonna happen. Especially, come on, we have heard stories of individuals who end up unaliving themselves, their cellies. I mean, in the SHU, right? Because you never know who you're gonna come across. You never know. And my first week, I was on high alert, man. Basically, the whole SHU term, I was like this. But the first week was basically like boom, paying attention to everything, every movement, every gesture, everything. Why? Because never know who that person is. You can have a nice conversation and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you don't know that person till you know them. And you have to think about this, man. Going to the SHU, there's gonna be a lot of people who have done things to inmates, right? Where they have unalive them or just stab them for whatever reason. So just because somebody look harmless and isn't sure doesn't mean that he's not capable of doing things, because he has done things and that's why he is in the SHU, right? So that's one advice I will tell individuals, like, hey man, be careful. And also, one thing that I always like to avoid when I used to go to the SHU is basically the whole thing of playing games, meaning card games, dominoes, chess, all of that stuff. Why? Because not everybody can take a loss. You can win, like a righteous win, but because that person is not can't take a loss, he can accuse you of cheating, and all that stuff can go all south. So basically, my program that I used to run right there is basically doing my workout in the morning, lunch, then I'll do drawings, then I'll read a book, watch TV, and that was it, right? Unless we had to go to the yard, we go to the yard and stuff like that. But that was it. It was a simple program, and you have to keep occupied. One thing I was doing, just keeping my mind occupied, because if not, you go crazy right there. You know, most difficult thing, it was basically not using the phones. You want to talk to your family, you want to talk to whoever, and you want to have that contact. But in the SHU, at least back in those days, there was no such thing as phone calls. You know, one thing you have to understand is that the SHU can be very dangerous, man, and that was something I was aware and something that I witnessed, in where you see individuals taking out their handcuffs and basically assault another inmate, right? Where either kicking them or stabbing them or whatever it was. I witnessed situations like this, and not to mention the situation that I have I witnessed of actually COs getting inmates and just either beating up and basically beating them up in the day room, or actually taking them out of the section, put them in the concrete yard, and do what they're doing over there, man. It was insane, man. It was something that would keep you on your toes. And I guess the cops knew who to mess with, right? It was like this. I kept it respectful. My cellie kept it respectful. So the cops didn't mess with us, right? But when you have individuals who are acting up, trust me, they're going to get the business, especially in Corcoran and Tehachapi. Those places were known for cops to do the unthinkable, right? The green wall. It was on that place. And it was an experience that not everybody who's been to prison had experienced. And trust me, there's nothing to brag about. There's nothing to brag about. At the end of the day, it's a spot that you put yourself by your own doings in prison. And basically, we end up getting caught. You know, that's what it is. There's nothing to brag about. And it was something that teach me how to value certain things. Even though this was not the last time I went to the SHU, but it was my first time, and I did learn a lot from right there, especially like making keys so you can open your handcuffs and stuff like that. And always being ready, because you never know who you're going to come across when you go to medical, when you go to the law library, or when you're being escorted to the yard, man. You always have to be ready, because you never know what the next man is going to do. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Always be mindful of your actions, because those actions are always going to take you to your future, man. So if you want to guarantee a success future, make the correct action. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Gracias.